screen right here. Anything jump out to you, Cascon?
Genji into Falstad Sylvanas should be really good. In fact, Genji into this entire comp kind of destroys them. They don't have any way to deal with him properly.
That was the exact same thing I was thinking.
It's 1 global versus 1.5/2. Dahaka Brightwing counts as 1.5 because you can't really count Brightwing as a full global sometimes. And there's the Falstad on the other side. So I think Diamond Hands is the better draft this game. And Tychus can shred Cocoon as well.
Yeah. When you're talking about... I think that there are generally 2 rough categories that I put a lot of heroes into. A lot of heroes are either just generalist, strong, and you pick them in the first half of the draft, and a lot of heroes are more conditional when it comes to their position in a draft and their power, and if you last pick them, then you just win. Like, there are a handful of heroes in this game where if they are your 5th pick and the enemy team's draft doesn't have certain conditions, they just lose. Tracer is one of the biggest examples of that. Zeratul, Genji, and Sergeant Hammer would probably be my big 4. If you last pick Tracer, Genji, Zeratul into a team that doesn't have any point-and-click CC and has really squishy backliners that just get popped when they get dived on, like Falstad and Sylvanas, you're going to have a bad time into those 3 dive heroes. It's like if you pick a team that has no long range damage, and then all of a sudden they last pick Sergeant Hammer, you just lose. I think it's the exact same thing right here. This Genji pick from Gotfilth is just fucking insane. You have a team that is not able to point-and-click peel a diver, and has teammates that are really weak to dive. That's just the story of the game to me. Bust out the HotS hat, Squeaky? I got you! Oh shit, I almost fell over my chair right there. I got you, though!
You just want that so you don't have to wear the Fish Fear Me hat.
That is indeed correct. Alrighty, I've got my stack of hats over here. Let me move them, Squeaky.
I need some mockery fears in the chat right now.
Hat, though. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of a change right in here. Hello, chat! Hi.
You should have all of the hats as redemptions. Or
yeah, I've been meaning to set it, and I just haven't.
And that way people can like counter each other's redemptions. Someone wants a HotS hat, and then they counter it with the Fish Fear Me hat.
One on.
It'd be really funny when you're playing Stormbreaker, you just have to keep swapping hats midway through the game.
Mm-hmm. And I just continuing to talk about the draft here, taking it back to what we're actually here for. Not only
I think everyone's here for the hat, actually, though.
Right. The Genji is certainly a major part of it, in that Granite Gaming has a backline that's weak to aggression and little ability to protect that backline. But what's also important to think about is that Diamond Hands has other aggressive heroes. Muradin is also able to jump in the backline just like Genji, and Brightwing often Z's in with that aggression as well, can provide contributing CC, and can enable these dives on these heroes more aggressively, knowing that they have that phase shift to fall back on. So as soon as I saw this draft, I was like, I feel like Diamond Hands just runs Granite Gaming down, and that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, everyone but Tychus can kind of just all win this game. And Tychus is kind of just sitting in the back thinking, okay, I'm waiting till Cocoon's press, I'm going to break the Cocoon. And that's his main job, and he takes waves and helps with cams, but in team fights, his job is just breaking Cocoon, while everyone else is running them down.
And Tychus
left the game.
Ooh, Grubby has left the game, Monk ass. Come
back,
like Grubby.
We told people to go follow him. No.
So, one thing that I thought was really interesting with Tychus, I looked up the math on how much damage, how many damage instances he does. So Tychus has an interesting trade-off when he's killing Cocoon, okay? Tychus can either Q the Cocoon, and that way he can hit it from longer range and while he's moving, but he'll clear it a little bit slower. It only does 3 hits per second. Then if he auto-attacks the Cocoon, which will do 4 hits per second, but of course it's shorter range and he can't move. So if your ability to move and your ability to hit the Cocoon from range is a factor, you generally might want to Q the Cocoon, and if that's not a problem, then you can just auto-attack the Cocoon. And of course, what we see right here, expect to see this anytime you have an Anubarak or a Sylvanas in a game. It's just cheesing a side tower.
Greymane, anything with building push, you want to choose a side tower.
Mm-hmm. It's just, if you can get that for free at the start of the game, just go for it. And certain offlaners in particular really hate to get their towers cheesed. We were talking about it with Cavalier Guest the other day. Rexar can really struggle if you cheese his towers early, and if you just camp people in his lane early. When he doesn't have towers to fall back onto, he's just so gankable. Let's see right here. Let me take a look at my notes. And so, chat, one thing I want to point out is that you're going to see a lot of topside pressure on Sky Temple this game. This is extremely normal. Sky Temple is a map where basically just what's keeping teams bot side in the early game is the presence of these siege caps and how short this rotation path is between mid and bottom. But first objective is always this middle shrine and this top shrine. And think about it this way, chat. There is no mercenary camp in the game on Sky Temple that pushes mid, but there is a camp that pushes top. And this is also a critical part of this. The objective on its own, even if you capture the entire thing, if you don't do any damage to the enemy team's lane, then the objective only gets the fort down to about half HP. But if you kill even one tower in that lane, the objective takes out the rest of the lane, including the whole fort. And the difference between killing a fort and not is big, okay? And so you'll see teams consistently put a massive amount of pressure on the top lane so that hopefully they can get the advantage in this lane and then play for top temple and take out a fort early on. Whereas taking out a mid fort with the first objective is significantly harder because there are no camps that push it.
But the risk of capping your bruiser camp this early to try and get the towers is that if the enemy team doesn't do it, they can cap it during the objective. And if they have that camp in the wave as you're trying to win top temple, it's going to be very hard to maintain positioning.
And that's exactly what we see Diamond Hands go for here. Granite Gaming goes for the strat of just a lot of early pressure as soon as possible. Cascon, they do exactly what you said, where they now take the bruiser camp as the first objective is happening from Diamond Hands. So even though Diamond Hands falls behind a bit in tempo early on, they now get free control of this top temple with the fact that they have bruisers during this first objective. Let me see right here. I want to see, how does Sylve die? Oh.
Oh, shit. Azurite being lazy again. Azurite being lazy again.
Oh, no. Let me see this.
It can't be lazy in a competitive game.
Yeah, Azurite is cheesing damage onto this. Gets the... Oh, why does he go left? What? Oh, that's so bad.
Oh, no, Azurite.
Yeah, so Azurite, I think what he wanted to do was he just wanted to start hitting the minion wave right here. Because look, he cheeses tower, he gets some damage on him, that's okay, he backs off. The thing is, you know Breeze is over here to your left. And do you have Vision of Dahaka? No! Oh, right there, just for the briefest moment.
And when you get vision of him, that's when Smexy runs topside. And that's an experience thing. Smexy's played against these sort of things before. He knows where to run. Azurite hasn't had the competitive experience to know I have to run topside here.
Yep, and so Smexy's not with him, Breeze is not with him. I think they just don't expect Azurite to int into the Dahaka that just showed. And he's standing still auto-attacking.
Because to these two players, to Breeze and Smexy, they've played against this so much that it doesn't even occur to them that you would walk into the Dahaka there.
Like, look, he's... I just wonder how much the ping affects Azurite because of the lack of stutter stepping and fluid motion in some of these fights right there. And it looks like it really opens him up to getting exploited by skill shots. Let's see.
I will say this, though. Azurite is playing Poik's former role, and Poik was arguably the best at his role in the world. So if anyone could teach Azurite how to not die like that and how to play properly, it will be Poik.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if all that experience on his team really kicks in. Granite Gaming, of course, a constant threat, even if they're not... I know in MC they're not in the top 3 seeding, I want to say. They might be number 3. Maybe that's Bang Bush and they're number 4. Yeah. But still, they're always a threat. When you just have that much experience, it's just like, dude, you can't count on them to not get it together and just start balling. Let's see. So, Granite Gaming, my notes here say, Granite Gaming knows that after securing the vision, Diamond Hands is either rotating on your rail top or moving bot. Oh, this is such a good play. Watch Wubby right here, chat.
Is this the Wubby thing where he just, the thing? Yeah. Okay.
So watch this, chat, okay? So Smexy goes in and secures this vision, and then as soon as it's done, he gets on out, he sees that Diamond Hands is taking it back. And now we're watching this from Diamond Hands' perspective. So these heroes right here, they take top vision. And now if you're Granite Gaming, you know that those hidden heroes for Diamond Hands are either ganking Urel or they're moving towards mid. You don't know which one it is, but you know it's one of the two. So Wubby refuses to step on wave until he knows, and he just sits here with his wings out. And he sits here with his wings out because if he doesn't have his wings out, then Muradin can jump in and just stun him into poly, and he wouldn't be able to cast anything. But if he sits out of range of Muradin's stun and Brightwing's polymorph, then they can't interrupt his wings without showing. And so Wubby recognizes the situation, and they try to gank him. They try to gank him, and then he just jumps out. And if he didn't have his wings out, then maybe they stun interrupt him.
That is a lot of vision awareness from Wubby right there.
Yeah, Wubby just knowing what the situation is, and now that he knows they backed off, or at least they might have backed off, he goes ahead and plays a little safer. He starts to see them on the map, so now he moves in. But Wubby right there waiting with his wings out, such a huge play in top lane. And then notice here, though, we also saw, as always, one team pressures one side of the map after the top lane gank, because Wubby, if Wubby just goes and sits under his fort, the enemy team just leaves. But if he baits them right there, then that buys his team time to push bottom by baiting the failed gank. And
this is really good.
And this is huge, not only because this is the next objective. Second objective is always bot lane on Sky Temple, but in addition to that, it's the boss lane. So this is always your end condition, your win condition lane on Sky Temple.
Yes. And Blake stepping up for the final Q to finish it.
Oh, this rotation by Tychus was so good. Okay, so right here, Tychus, after clearing out mid lane unaverted, so wave is cleared, so now the enemy team doesn't see him rotating, and he sees Wubby going for this vision. Wubby's going for vision as soon as Tychus cleared that lane. He may have expected Tychus to just go down and play in the 4-man right here, but no, Tychus actually very shrewdly rotates up to Wubby, and then Nintori gets the tongue, and unaverted's just right there. Ease in so that he can follow up faster. Notice how he timed that grenade after the tongue to try and interrupt any Urel channels that he could or anything like that. Absolutely huge. So they get the very fast pick on Wubby because Wubby went in at a very bad time, and then now Dahaka's in.
And that's something you can always do on Tychus. If you're ever playing Tychus, you always bully the offlane. It's something Lutano was really good about season 1 and 2. Is he would just pick Tychus and just bully the offlane, make it a 1v2 so that he guarantees wins and gets kills.
I mean, I feel like Lutano always 2v1s the offlane, to be honest.
Yeah, but he specifically plays the heroes that are good at it.
No, for sure. Tracer, Tychus, Greymane, all able to abuse that really hard. Alrighty. Hey, thanks for the raid, Doho. Let's see right here. Want to see what else I have in my notes. Global advantage shows up on big here. Oh yeah, and so another thing I have in my notes is that I'm of the opinion that heroes that are particularly good at roaming, such as Tracer, Genji, Zeratul, these heroes are insane on maps with vision towers. Because not only are they really good at contesting these visions, because they want to take skirmishes in between the lanes, they already want to be roaming between lanes rather than necessarily macroing. So vision, like roam heroes are really good at securing vision towers, and then they also get massive benefits from having the vision tower. It makes it easier for them to get ganks. So it's just so big. I think that heroes like Tracer, Genji, Zeratul just naturally are going to have that kind of boost on Sky Temple, Cursed Hollow, and Warhead Junction.
Yeah.
Are you checking out replays for ranked? We are watching the CCL games from this past weekend. My basic content strategy, Doho, right now is I cast Masters Clash live Saturday and Sunday, and then I review CCL. We talk about what happened in the games on Monday, Tuesday. So it's 4 straight days of HotS Esports. Ooh, we're about to see a really big play from Gotfilth in particular right here that also is relevant for our Tracer players as well. So let's take a look at this. We're going to speed up a minute. There's just a bit of damage trading.
No Tracer players, watch your stream.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
By you.
So
Because
look
they
at
like come in, they watch, and you think, I'm never going to be as good as Tracer as this guy. I'm quitting this hero.
I felt that way when I watched my friends play Minecraft as a kid. I was like just over here with my little basic ass dirt house, and they're all doing fancy shit, and I'm like, man, I'm never gonna be as good as these guys. So look at the pressure right here. GG finishing off this bot fort that's very low HP, and watch what happens. We talked before about how you can use Cocoon to set up kills. Look at this. Look at this play. Breeze Cocoon's got filth.
Yeah, strike the Cocoon.
The follow kind of blocked it right there. Genji X strikes the Cocoon. The timing has to be nutty to pull this play off, y'all. And so chat, I want to point out something as well. When a Cocoon is coming at you, look at this web. This web appears underneath your hitbox whenever a Cocoon is heading towards you, and this often serves as a way that you can know to ice block or X strike or recall or something to dodge this Cocoon. And once Cocoon is sent, it's on full CD, regardless of whether or not it hits a cleansed target, regardless of whether that person's in stasis. So Got Filth just nearly about pixel perfectly just X strikes to bait out and dodge the Cocoon right there. So huge. Because if that Cocoon lands, then they're looking for the kill every time.
And then what's important for Granite Gaming is the second they don't get the Cocoon, they all just leave. Right? They know they've used their cooldowns. If they look more, then they're probably going to die. So they just leave and wait for their cooldowns to come back before they look again.
Absolutely. Let's see, what's my next note here? So we're going to see 13 advantages about to come out from Diamond Hands, and notice that as soon as they get it, they're going to pressure onto this siege camp, okay? So that means they're aware that this siege camp is about to respawn in 14, and they're aware that they're about to be up level 13. Diamond Hands is going to get 13 advantage, and look, they're already going straight there. And they know that they have a limited window to force this. What's up?
They're going there early to maintain positioning of the camp. Oh, that's a good juke.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Even though that was a very good isolation by Nintori onto Smexy, you still get that movement speed in Feral Spirit right here, the Wolf, that's helping compensate for the slow. And that's just such good sidestepping from Smexy, such good zigzagging to avoid the death. Let's see.
That's very good from Wabi to
9:15.
knock the siege camp into tower range, so it would die to the towers.
I was actually coaching an offlane player literally this morning and talking about how, like, you play Dahaka, you should queue the siege giants under your towers, that kind of thing, just to get them in. Wabi right there pushing these under. He's a very good hero to do it also because it's harder for him to get picked off by Caesar and by Gotfilth when he goes for it. And I want to point out that I believe there was some miscommunication right there. Good sidestep by Azurite to avoid Caesar's salad stun. Caesar knows that the second he jumps, if it gets interrupted, he's toast, but he's fine. Watch what happens right here, chat. Yeah, 9:15 is when I have it.
Oh,
Genji
we'll hit the
extracting out of there.
Generally don't want to use extract to get out unless you're dodging something like Cocoon.
So this, I think, has to be a comms issue from GG. Look at Poik's health and mana and positioning. Breeze is very aggressively rotating on the enemy team's side of the map because he wants to go for the gank on Nintori, which his teammates are also going in on. Poik is tapping. And so this leads to a very unfortunate circumstance where now Breeze goes in, Nintori very nearly dies, and they hard commit. He burrow charges in, which sets up the guaranteed stun for Nintori, and Falstad's way over there. I think that Poik either needs to be more on point with the rotation, or they just need to not go in if Poik is tapping there.
Yeah, they need to communicate that properly and respect each other's boundaries when it comes to heroes.
And so now at that point,
probably a gust soon.
yeah, GG just needs to get on out of there. Well, I think if that Stormbolt lands onto Smexy, I think there's probably a gust.
Yeah, if there's like CC, something that will kill, then you just gust them away.
Poik flying on out of there. New, I assume that he didn't have stun? Okay.
Yeah,
And
he did.
Poik just gonna fly out, secure vision. I mean, Muradin had stun, but I don't know if it just came up like right as he was flying away, and I don't really care to check too hard. Unaverted helping his buildings out. Let's see. Yeah. And then I wanted to see what happened right here with Nintori catching Poik. Because this actually wasn't shown on stream. This was just on minimap when Nintori catches Poik raw here. Oh, was Poik too far away to hear the dig?
Yeah, Poik didn't hear the dick.
Oh, okay, hold on. So Poik goes on Vision Tower, and Nintori, maybe he just doesn't want to contest the Vision. Maybe he's aware that he's doing Z too far away for Poik to hear.
Yeah, so once again, high-level HotS is a game of information. If you go to contest the Vision, they know where you are. If you're just sitting out of Vision in that bush, he has no idea.
So we're going to listen to this from Falstad's perspective. Right now, we're looking at where Poik is placing his camera. We see his mouse clicks and everything. We're going to hear if he hears this Dahaka Z. I don't think he does. So he Z's here. Dahaka Zing now. Nothing. Okay. So Nintori just completely gives up the camp and Z's out of Falstad's range to hear it. And so Poik has no idea that Nintori's up here, and that's how Nintori's able to get the stealth kill on him. Yeah, because Nintori's just waiting so patiently for Poik to show, not on his minions.
So actually, it's a funny story from this. I was with comms in Gunner, with Gunner at this point, and Poik was actually playing a bit reserved. He was saying, Dahaka's probably top, Dahaka's probably top, Dahaka's probably top. He said that like 3 times, and then he said, Dahaka's not top, stepped up, and then Dahaka went and killed him.
The Dahaka burrowing message does not show for enemies, but the only message that's like that shows for enemies is when Lieutenant Morales calls her medevac dropship. There's a message in the chat. Everything else, all the other global messages, are only visible to allies. Yeah,
You see right
so
here, he's
huge.
playing safe, and then he steps up because he thinks, Dahaka's not top. And then he gets gone on.
Very good play. Dude, it's so weird. Do you see the Brightwing Z, how it goes all like sideways right here? It goes down. The animation.
Oh, yeah.
That was so strange. I don't know why it did that. I don't know if that's just like a Dahaka thing, but I've never seen that visual bug. Look at the Brightwing glitter. It's supposed to be a pillar and it goes all sideways. That's so weird.
Yeah, you see the landing reticles for the globals though, so like the Dahaka Z or the
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know, it's strange.
Yeah.
HotS, by the way. Janky game.
Let's see. Yeah, and then I remember we get a little bit of this objective. We get a push from the members of Diamond Hands top, and we actually look for an aggressive gust play from Poik when he respawns. But the thing is, the members of Diamond Hands are so mobile, and they have 16 advantage, that it kind of doesn't do anything. Like, watch right here. Poik flies behind them, and then globals them in, or gusts them in. The thing is, Genji doesn't get hit. Brightwing can blink heal out immediately, and Dahaka can tunneling claws out. Or is he tongue? He's elongated tongue, but he can still burrow out.
Yeah, he
so
can
watch.
still get out.
Right here, Genji just dashes out, Brightwing blink heals out, and Dahaka burrows, so the gust kind of doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good gust.
Yeah, that's unfortunate though. I understand why he went for it, and they didn't lose really anything for attempting it.
So on Sky Temple in general, if you're behind, you need to force a fight. Because if you just trade temples all game, you will eventually lose the game. And when I say behind, I mean behind on structures specifically. So if you're behind, you need to force a fight, and then you can start pushing and getting advantage.
Yeah, like typically forcing a fight, making a boss play, getting an invade, like you just need to do something proactive on Sky Temple. Otherwise, you're just gonna steadily lose the game to objective. But chat, have you ever noticed that these say Pwn on them? PWN?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. What the fuck?
No. Don't ruin this map for me. No.
Oh no. Let me see. All right, right here we have these two teams forming up. Oh, and this is where Regar's range limitation is about to kick in again, chat. So notice Smexy. Smexy is always trying to be in the back, not clumped with his team, and that costs him. That costs him right here. Let's see. So here's Smexy on the mouse. And then Breeze gets silenced right here, and so Smexy needs to come up and cleanse him, but Smexy's going down to try to avoid being clumped, and Breeze is still just getting murdered. And then he finally hits the cleanse unstoppable right there. I don't think Breeze has burrow charge.
I'm gonna assume not, otherwise he would instantly press it out. I have huge respect for Breeze and Noob.
It's not... The hell? I like lost my ability to use my keybinds. There we go. Okay. I was pressing the buttons and just like nothing was happening for a moment. Okay, so Breeze does not have Burrow Charge. Yeah, he gets the cleanse. It's down. So how exactly does that happen? How does Breeze get so isolated in the first place? And then it specifically is a problem because Rhaegar can't cleanse him yet. Let's see.
They do have vision of Nintori walking into the bush.
Breeze Burrow Charges on Genji. So then before we talked about how Muradin, when he uses E mid-fight, he's kind of a walking target. Well, Breeze puts a target on himself, and then Nintori hits an insane flank right here. And Breeze does not see it coming. Because Nintori just flanks out of vision, walks straight into the ISO.
That's actually pretty bad, because they had a vision of Nintori walking into that bush. That's why Poik and Smexy both moved bot side. And the Breeze just didn't see it, or it wasn't communicated to him properly.
So we're seeing GG's vision right now. So you see Nintori, yeah, you see him walk almost all the way up, and then Smexy double pings it. But then Breeze walks right into it, and now Smexy wants to save him, but he's just now entering cleanse range. Hits the Ancestral plus the cleanse. But at this point, Breeze is still... he just melts.
Matter. He's still just so low.
Wow,
This is a comp that can kill a new brag versus the Chromie thing we saw last game. That's very good poly timing on the follow-up TC as well.
Oh, the Stormbolt right there is so huge. Yeah, and then at that point, he's worried about Smexy getting dropped, so Poik just Gus.
On cooldown, by the way.
You're all hammered the wrong way? I don't want to keep watching the same fight. It just takes forever.
On cooldown was Gus used.
Oh, for real? Oh, yeah, 5 seconds? Let's see. Gust comes up now. Yeah, he eats away and then Gust.
So he can get the Gust.
Wow, that's actually pretty big from Poik, yeah. Alrighty, let's see. What's up next in my notes? 12-10 with... What's up?
Something that Heavy and Nintori both trolled us. When you're taking the Sky Temple boss, you should always position on the enemy side of the map. Because the tornado spawns based on where a random hero is positioned. So the tornado can spawn on the left or the right. If all 5 heroes are to the left, then there's a 100% chance it'll go there. If one hero is to the right, there's a 20% chance it'll go to the right. So you want everyone to sit on the left until the tornado spawns, and then move over to the right for the safety.
So watch right here. Diamond Hands is going to move to the right too early, and then the tornado spawns on either Nintori or Heavy, and now it's in the middle of things. If they all stayed to the left, let the tornado spawn, then move to the right, the tornado would be zoning out the members of GG for them, but instead they're getting themselves zoned because they didn't do it right. And then they just take this. They have the number advantage with Breeze being dead. So it's a simple 5v4. Wubby tries to go in and get it, but he doesn't have Ardent Defender. What's up?
I feel like this play by Wubby is not respected by people. Because, on the one hand, you are basically guaranteed to die for that. On the other hand, they probably don't expect that a Hero is going to jump over that wall to contest the boss 4v5. Right? If he gets the knock off of people on point and win that boss, then that can be their way back into the game.
Yeah. If he hits a huge hammer play there to just snipe the boss right at the start, then that's just massive. That's one of the best things you can do 4v5.
And it's really important because no one expects it. Right?
But
and
Heavy
his team stepped up to get him vision of when the boss would die.
Like, the positioning is just good from Diamond Hands to avoid being hit by that. Heavy's, of course, quick with the poly. And then at this point, they chase it out. Okay. They just go ahead and get full temple. Oh.
Granite Gaming just have to... Ooh.
What is this? Do I remember this happening?
Genji looked for a kill and then whiffed.
Oh, the cocoon! The long-range cocoon onto Genji, who didn't have X-Strike. And he probably knew, because they just saw X-Strike used. So Breeze just slammed cocoon as soon as he saw Genji, I bet. And then, if you're Genji, you want to Q out of cocoon rather than E, because Q... E just happens, like, for one little effect, whereas Q is a ground effect that has a bit of persistence. So you don't need to be frame perfect with Qing someone out of cocoon, but you do need to be frame perfect to E somebody out of cocoon. So that's why you always see good Anubrak players use Q on somebody coming out of cocoon first, and then they walk away and E in. This is something you will consistently see very good Anubrak players do, okay? Look. Genji, he knows that his dodge of cocoon is not up, so Breeze cocoons. And then he knows he's not in a rush, so he walks up, he uses Q, and then walks away so that he can hit minimum E. and then uses the E.
The Brightwing cleanse, like Z, then cleanse and blink away was perfect from Heavy though. That was
Yeah.
an instant Z and then instant cleanse.
So notice here, the reason why Heavy was able to do everything so perfectly and so quickly is because shift queuing your commands is so massive when you play Brightwing. In particular, watch Heavy, I guarantee you, he has already pressed the button to right click or is about to. Because this is instantaneous. While you're Zing to someone on Brightwing, you should be shift queuing up the rest of your commands. So I guarantee you he's pressed shift Z, or he Z'd on Gotfilth. Shift
D.
E? Shift D?
D. Yeah, and then Shift R onto a backline menu.
And so that's why, look at how quick this is. Boom, he's already gone. By like you literally don't even see Brightwing here because of how quick that is. And you can see this circle is Brightwing's D, and I guarantee you his E is probably on CD. No, his E didn't.
Don't
He didn't
usually
use
do
the
it
E.
for the E because it's a bit harder to like input all of it quickly enough.
I get you. Yeah, and so Heavy was able to Z there, Shift D, and then Shift R to get on out, so that way Heavy himself was not in danger, even though he could still save him. There's literally not even a single frame where Brightwing is here. That's crazy. Very well executed by Heavy. Heavy's cracked at support, though.
Yeah, there's a reason it was on Oxygen Season 2.
Oh, yeah.
And 3.
Alrighty, let's see what's coming up.
So now-
What's up?
At this point in the game, Granite Gaming needs to force a fight, but they need their ultis to be up first. So they just have to wait 30 seconds and then kind of like Hooga Booga, Hail Mary fight, and if they lose the game. If they win, they're back into the game. If they just AFK at this point, they lose the game anyway.
And then we're about to see as well Skullcracker, which Muradin may have taken particularly into the Yrel matchup, because Yrel just hates getting CC'd. And I think that's going to be relevant right here in looking for the Wubby kill. So Caesar hops over the wall. We talk about it all the time. Muradin hopping walls. He hops, and then he gets the auto attack. And then he auto attacks right there, which helps hold Wubby in place with the Skullcracker for the tongue. Like, there's just so much CC pressure on this team between Muradin, Stormbolt, between Polymorph and Drag at the same time. And the fact that they all chained that perfectly so Yrel couldn't even Ardent Defender, very well executed.
Skullcracker in general is really good at disrupting the rhythm of the opponent. Because when you play hero, you have a rhythm. You kind of just play the game how you think it's right, and you're stutter stepping to a rhythm. And when the Skullcracker comes off, it kind of, the micro-stun messes with everything you're doing. Makes juking harder, makes stutter stepping harder, makes everything harder.
Yep. And then into certain characters, bless you, into certain characters that CC is just so huge. Let me see right here. My next note is at 1550. My note says, this fight is low-key all about Brightwing, is what my notes say. So we'll see
More
it right
heavy
here.
praise.
More
Oh.
heavy praise. I talk good about good players. Surprise, surprise.
But what the fuck is a heavy?
What the fuck is a heavy? All right, Diamond Hands
Can I get
coming
some
over
what the
to
fuck is a
mid.
heavy in the chat, please?
Diamond Hands coming over to mid, looking for that pressure up level 10. They also know that a member of Granite Gaming has to go back and save base. This is a basically unwinnable position for Granite. You have to simultaneously contest like both altars and defend base and fight down 20. It's just not doable.
Yeah, so actually, when I was watching this live, I got kind of annoyed at Diamond Hands for not running core with like 2 people. Because I think with Genji, you run core here every time, and it's much harder for Granite Gaming to respond.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And if you've got Shingon, which he does, Shingon has big core damage too. Because you're just guaranteed to hit it over and over again. Granite Gaming does what they can. Oh, yeah, this is that fight that's all about heavy. We're going to talk about it in just a second.
It's all about heavy.
It's all about heavy. It's the heavy show. It's heavy's world, and we're all just living in it, man. Alright. Let me see. So let's go ahead and take a look at that fight, okay? And we can see Granite Gaming's one last final push to try and pick up these kills and how it gets shut down. Alright. So watch, Granite Gaming, their first aspect of this play is securing this vision, and this is going to allow Wubby to flank. Now Wubby goes over here and looks for the flank from out of vision. Wubby has his wings out, he jumps in. And after the jump in, he's going to want to hammer Muradin to use his level 16 talent Templar's Verdict, okay? Templar's Verdict is going to deal it's going to deal percent damage to Muradin, shredding him that way, and it's going to reduce his armor so that the rest of GG can shred Muradin. This is their whole game plan, is to pop Muradin right here, right now, and you can absolutely do that with the aid of Templar's Verdict. And so, Wabi doesn't get the hammer off because he gets polymorphed by Heavy.
That's a really good poly.
And now they're worried about Heavy phase shifting onto Caesar Salad, so Azerite wailing arrows just to deny the option from Heavy. He wailing arrows just to silence Heavy so that he can't phase shift and save Caesar Salad, because at this point all their eggs are in the basket of killing Muradin, but without that Yrel hammer, they just don't have the damage. They can't finish him off and they lose the game. Like, that polymorph just straight up is the final play that seals the game.
That fight was all about Heavy. That fight was all about Heavy, and it was also a really good wailing arrow from Azerite. You don't see that often. Like, arrowing the save rather than just arrowing the target you want to kill.
Yep. And at this point, GG's just scrambling to do whatever they can, but game's over.
GG, you have to kill everyone and then take both temples, and then... It's not doable.
Alrighty. We have one more game left to watch right here, folks. I'm wondering if Hypershift 20 is shit because you can't shift Q your spells. I mean, the ult upgrades on Brightwing are just so good is the thing. Like, Invisible Friends is so massive, and Emerald Winding every 5 seconds is just comical in terms of the level of disruption that it brings.